Very strong shaking. I think we need to get under the desk.
For years.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome you to our program tonight. I'm still trying to see what's going on here to make sure YouTube has us on the air. They do not have us on. There we go. We are on the air. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. My name's Ron Tyler. I'm with Emergency Management Associates. I started Emergency Management Associates on the air about 5.5 years ago. Richard Smith is here from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome, Richard. Sheila Dean is here. Good afternoon. Mr. Boston is here. Welcome. Catherine Sigerson is here from Manitoba, Canada. Welcome. We appreciate you here. Derek Landon is here. Ray Spur is here. We're getting 5x5s all over. Thank you so much for remembering that. George Rashad, my dear friend from California. Thank you for being here, George. We appreciate you. Heidi Petrick is here. Nicole Modar is also here. Nice from California as well. Thank you all for being here. We're going to get started this evening because we're actually about an hour late. I wanted to start this program at 6 o'clock, but we just did not have all of our information ready. That's the reason we did not start right at 6. Now, I'm going to start this in just a second, but I'm going to warn you, there is a lot of information here. There is a ton of information here. I want to make sure you guys are actually prepared for what we're going to show you tonight. This is important. This is very important. Okay? Now, just a second here. I'm having problems orienting some videos I want to show you tonight. First off, I want to talk to you and tell you that we're going to be talking about California. We're going to be talking about the San Andreas Fault. Now, someone asked me last night to explain what is going on the San Andreas Fault. In order to do this, I want to go back and talk specifics. I want to talk about some scientific information about the San Andreas Fault. A lot of people don't even realize this. Okay? This is the things we're going to tell you about the San Andreas Fault are information here that will make that is already making the San Andreas Fault one of the most dangerous faults in the world. Okay? The lady last night that left me a message after our program was over, in the comments section, I urge each and every one of you that have questions or comments after our programs to leave us a comment after the program is over, right below the program that you're watching now, right below our video. Now, what is so special? She asked me to explain the East Mojave Shear Zone. She asked me to explain the East Mojave Shear Zone. Now, I'm going to explain it, and I'm also going to show you some video to help you further understand what we're talking about. The East Mojave Shear Zone moves at 8 millimeters a year. 8 millimeters per year of the Pacific North American relative plate motion. 8 millimeters a year. It's about that far. Okay? The North American plate motion from the San Andreas Fault north and northwest from the Mojave Desert. Okay? Shear zones are generally wider than faults. Shear zones are relatively wider, generally wider than the faults themselves. And these shear zones may accommodate displacements. Displacements over a range of scales and sometimes from centimeters to tens of kilometers. Centimeters to tens of kilometers. Strain is considerably higher in shear zones with respect to surrounding rock, and that appears to be weakly deformed or non-deformed area rock. Okay? Non-deformed or deformed rock. I want to show you some pictures now. In order to really understand what we're talking about, I need to show you some pictures. Now, you may be able to understand these pictures more freely and readily than if we were just to talk about it. That's why I want to show you these pictures. I want to show you this first picture. I'm sorry, not that yet. This is deformed rock. This is a shear zone. What makes it shear? What do you think makes it shear? Look at this. You can tell it's shear because it's cut like this. It's a vertical cut. It's a shear cut. It's a vertical cut. Now I want to show you a video here. A very short video. This will explain strike-slip faults. The San Andreas Fault is a strike-slip fault. Look at this. This is a horizontal strike-slip fault. Every time the plate moves or the fault moves there, let me bring it back here. Every time the fault moves, you can see the word earthquake. Okay? This is a strike-slip horizontal fault. Okay? There's that. Then there is a horizontal fault that I show you here. This is a horizontal strike-slip fault here. Now, why are we interested in that? Because the San Andreas Fault is moving, and we know that. Scientists are now saying that this fault zone is going to move in such a way where it's going to be very destructive. And it's going to move in a big way. Richard Smith is in the chat putting up the latest of the earthquakes. A 3.4 over in western Texas. Now, while that is a good-sized quake, it's a small good-sized quake. It's in western Texas. What do we know about the earthquakes in western Texas? There are swarms of quakes. Today there's about six or seven quakes in that swarm in southwestern Texas. It's ongoing. Richard also talked about a 2.7 in Greece. Greece is having 40 earthquakes today. Greece has had 40 earthquakes. Now, Mr. Boston, we're getting back to the San Andreas Fault. Mr. Boston said cliffs, and that's pretty much right on the money. Cliffs. When we think of the San Andreas Fault, we think of horizontal and vertical strike slips. Horizontal and vertical strike slips. Now, for right now, this discussion is going to focus on the constancy or non-constancy of strain accumulation and release. Strain, accumulation, and release. Okay? Now, we all know that on the southern side of the Garlock Fault, we have the San Andreas Fault. the two faults come together like this. The Garlock Fault proceeds to the northeast like this. Proceeds from the to the northeast like this, away from the San Andreas Fault. Okay? Function of the Garlock Fault, and quite frankly, we did not, or scientists did not even recognize the Garlock Fault until the Ridgecrest Fault or earthquake happened. Scientists did not even recognize the Garlock Fault until the Ridgecrest quake happened. But the function of the Garlock Fault in accommodating the deformation in the region, the total cumulative displacement and timing of offset on faults. Offset on faults. The Garlock Fault is an offset of the San Andreas Fault. The various techniques that are used to determine fault displacement and slip rates and the role of the Eastern California shear zone as a nascent segment of the Pacific Northwest Plate boundary. The Pacific North American Plate boundary. Now, I've shown you in past years, and it's been a while since I've shown you the picture, and quite honestly, I should have brought that picture into the program tonight. That is over in the earthquake capital of California. Okay? That Pacific North American Plate boundary photograph. Okay? Where the Pacific Plate comes directly underneath the North American Plate, just off the coast, and it takes a deep dive under the North American Plate. Taking a deep dive under the North American Plate. And doing so, it's forcing the North American Plate to the southeast, just like this. Okay? It's forcing the North American Plate to the southeast like this. It's actually creating mountains. In some areas, that huge subduction area where the Pacific Plate goes up underneath the North American Plate, taking a deep dive underneath the American Plate, causes a lot of problems, doesn't it? One of those problems is called the San Andreas Fault. Okay? The earthquake capital of California shows this. It shows us this vividly. When the Pacific Plate goes up underneath the North American Plate like this, it pushes the plate, doesn't it? In some areas, it twists the plate. It twists the plate. And it causes roadways to have to be rebuilt with big, huge curves in it because of the displacement of the San Andreas Fault. Okay? It's huge. It's huge. In that town alone, it's displaced the roadways. It displaced a business where the business was cockeyed like this. They had to bring it together. They actually had to build a small building attachment to each of those buildings so people could pass from one section of the building to the other because the San Andreas Fault moved it. That's what happened. Okay? It's creating tremendous movement. Now, this is not the only place it is. This is not the only place where the San Andreas Fault has created tremendous movement. It's ongoing. It's ongoing from Northern California all the way down to and including Mexico. The San Andreas Fault travels a great deal of distance. A great deal of distance. Now, what we're talking about is about 1,200 miles. 1,200 miles. That's huge. The San Andreas Fault starts up at the junction of the Cascadia subduction zone and the Gourd Escarpment. Then the San Andreas Fault goes down towards the coastline of California, and it intersects the landmass just north of San Francisco. Then it travels throughout the state of California, all the way down through California, through northern Mexico, and down along the coast of southern Mexico. That's huge. That's huge. But in that entire area, the Pacific Plate starts subducting under the North American Plate way up north. Way up north. Under Alaska. Under British Columbia, Canada. Under Washington State. Under Oregon and California. It's an entire subduction. That whole area is a huge subduction zone. We talked significantly about this last night. I wanted to make sure everybody realized what we're talking about. Okay? We talked significantly about the Cascadia subduction zone last night. Tonight we're talking about the San Andreas Fault. Because the Cascadia subduction zone is going to trigger the San Andreas at the triple junction that we just talked about. It's going to trigger it. And as a result, there's going to be a massive earthquake that's not just going to be up in northern Washington and Canada and being triggered up into Alaska as well, but it's going to trigger all of California. It's going to trigger all of California. Now, why is this important? Millions of people, hundreds of millions of people are affected by the San Andreas Fault. Just like millions of people are being affected by the Cascadia subduction zone. The strike-slip faulting of the San Andreas is a common mode of deformation in both continental and oceanic crust. Continental and oceanic crust. Strike-slip systems, whether they're horizontal like this or vertical, they're relatively narrow and subvertical wrench zones. Wrench zones. They twist. They twist along two adjacent blocks that move sideways, horizontally, parallel, and also vertically to the strike fault zone, the San Andreas Fault. For example, the earthquakes are produced at transform plate boundaries. Transform plate boundaries, where plates are horizontally slide past one another. Transform plate boundaries where the plates are horizontal like this. They move horizontally past each other, just like they do over in Northern California at the earthquake capital. And it's not just the earthquake capital of California, but the earthquake capital of the world. There is so much movement and so many earthquakes in that area, it's the earthquake capital of the world. Okay? Now, when these plates move, there is no net addition or subtraction of the area with the crust. There is no addition or subtraction of the crust. The crust is the earth that we walk on. Okay? The San Andreas Fault is classically accepted as a strike-slip faulting. Strike-slip faulting either horizontally or vertically. Okay, I just show you that on horizontal fault. The Eastern California shear zone that this woman wanted me to talk about, otherwise referred to as the ECSZ, Eastern California Shear Zone. It's an important component of the Pacific North American Plate boundary. The Pacific North American Plate boundary. Like I said, it's either going to strike slip horizontally or strike slip vertically like this. We've seen it happen. And when it slips vertically, there's usually massive damage. Massive damage. Buildings are sometimes completely destroyed with vertically strike slip earthquakes. We've seen it happen in Northridge. We've seen it happen in Devore in the 65 or 68 quake over there. We've seen it many other places as well. Now, this region of active, predominantly strike-slip deformation east of the San Andreas Fault extends from the southern Mojave Desert, out by Ridgecrest, along the east side of the Sierra Nevada, and into western Nevada itself. This slip zone, the San Andreas Fault, is thought to accommodate nearly a quarter of relatively Pacific North American Plate boundary. Recent studies in this region utilizing innovative methods ranging from cosmogenic nuclide geochronology, in other words, between use of satellite chronology and the chronology of chemicals found along the fault line, an airborne laser, airborne laser swath mapping from a plane, and also what we've come to know as ground penetrating radar, geologic mapping with ground penetrating radar. Scientists have also been using geochemistry and what they call UPB geochronology that is helping the scientists analyze the slip rate and the displacement histories for many of the major structures alongside the San Andreas Fault. This field work that scientists have done include 12 stops along the Lenwood, the Garlock, the Owens Valley, which is a huge earthquake fault area, Fish Lake Valley. Those are some of the primary focus areas for new research. Scientists are actively looking at this because they all know that the San Andreas Fault is about to move. And it's about to move in a huge way. Now, Diane Kelmas here in the chat says that this is another danger. The poisonous gas that could escape. There are gases. There are gases in the earth. We've talked about sulfuric gas from magma. We've talked about CO2 and many other toxic gases. This could happen when the earth moves. It could happen at any point when the earth moves. But if this indeed is a major movement that is expected, you would think there's going to be a tremendous amount of gas release also. Okay? We need to look at this, and scientists are looking at it. We're looking at it very closely. Now, scientists have made observations of the offset. The offset. For example, the Garlock leaving the San Andreas in Southern California. They've made many observations using alluvial deposits. All alluvial deposits are landslides. Sand and earth coming down the hillsides into the deserts. You can see it. It looks like an alluvial fan like this. It looks like a fan going out over the desert area. Alluvial fan. Okay? Alluvial deposits from ground movement, from landslides. Lava tubes. Stratigraphic markers. And igneous intrusions. Lava intrusions into the rock. All of these are deformed as a result of recurring seismic activity. All of this rock movement are deformed rock. Deformed as a result of recurring seismic activity. Now, like I said, our discussion tonight is going to focus on the constancy or the non-constancy of the strain accumulation. I'm going to show you some seismograms in just a couple minutes here that's going to prove what's going on. I've shown you seismograms in the past, almost every week for the past 3 years, of the movement along the San Andreas Fault. Mr. Mogg is here. JNUSMC is here. Leroy Truth is here. Says sorry he's late. Folks, this is important. I want everybody to realize the importance of what we're talking about tonight. Okay? Right now we have 93 people watching our program. Just a minute ago it was 88. I'm hoping we get more and more people here. Because the San Andreas Fault is moving, and it's moving in a huge direction. If we don't understand it, we will be caught. We will be caught. Now, I understand we all are living all over the United States. But there are hundreds of millions of people, well, I can't say hundreds. There are tens of millions of people living up and down the entire fault line. From Northern California all the way down into Mexico. People are going to die. People are going to be disturbed. Their lives will be upended, literally. If we don't understand and get with this, people are going to get hurt. We need to understand and do something about it. We need to understand what's going on and take action to make sure we can go on living. Because what is going on is, one, normal, but two, it's going to disturb each one of us. It's going to have some kind of effect on each one of us. Why? Why do you think it's going to have an effect on you? If you don't live near the San Andreas Fault, how could it have an effect on you? You have friends. You have relatives that live near or on the San Andreas Fault. You think their lives are going to be upended? You're absolutely right. They will be. They will be. And if we don't do something right now, and I'm saying right now, things are going to happen. Now, I'm going to try to set up a video to show you in just a second here. I've done a great deal of research this afternoon to show you information here. And this is a great deal of information. I would ask that each one of you understand and really get to know what's happening. Please watch this video. I'm going to show you 2 segments.
Number 13, the New Madrid Fault. The New Madrid Fault in the central United States is a vast seismic zone that extends across several states, including Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. This fault system is not a single distinct fault line, but instead a network of faults beneath the Mississippi River Valley, and is most famous for the series of powerful earthquakes that happened in 1811 and 1812, and were among the most powerful in the history of the continental U.S. These events were so intense that they significantly changed the landscape in the region surrounding the epicenter, and actually caused the Mississippi River to temporarily flow backward, while being felt as far away as New York City and Boston. The New Madrid seismic zone is also regarded as being quite unusual because it's located in the stable continental interior, far away from any active plate boundaries where most earthquakes happen. The reason for its seismic activity are not fully understood, but studies suggest that ancient rifts beneath the Earth's surface, known as the Real Rift, might play a role. With it being a mystery why it's there, the New Madrid Fault is of great interest to seismologists and emergency planners due to its potential for future earthquakes. While it's not as active as faults in California or Alaska, it's capable of producing large earthquakes that could have significant impacts on the densely populated cities in the Midwest and South. And if anything like what happened in 1811 and 12 were to happen today, it could cause untold damage. Number 12, Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal.
Okay, that's that one. I'm now going to go over to the San Andreas Fault. This part of the presentation about the San Andreas. I want to show you that part showing what's happening over on the New Madrid, because tomorrow night we're going to be significantly talking about the New Madrid Fault. Stephen Braden just gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Stephen. I also gave you an Emergency Management Associate sticker on your super chat. So I want to thank you so much for doing that. What is going on? What do you think is going on the New Madrid Fault? Does anybody have a real clue of what's happening? Let's take a look at this part of this video.
By material that fell into deep cavities because of the earthquakes. But because they've happened along the fault line, they are, in effect, beginning to mark the boundary of where the tectonic plates will eventually split. It'll still be millions of years before the sides have completely separated and an ocean begins to form between them, but it's fascinating seeing the start of such an impactful geological process. The valley is already home to a series of deep lakes that have formed like this due to the sinking of the rift floor, such as Victoria, Malawi, Turkana, and many others. These, of course, support the large ecosystem here, but in this place in particular, it could well be responsible for human evolution, too. The Rift Valley has yielded some of the most significant archaeological discoveries, including fossils of early human ancestors, showing that early humans used to rely on the fresh water in the lakes and the species that thrived in the region. And without this, we may not have survived long enough to become what we are today. Number 1. Carrizo Plain, San Andreas Fault, California. The Carrizo Plain, located in central California, is located along one of the most famous and most studied tectonic structures in the world, the San Andreas Fault. And here, you can see exactly why there's such concern and conversation surrounding the potential for a major event to take place along this fault line, and the severity of things if it does happen. The San Andreas Fault itself is a continental transform fault that extends roughly 750 miles or 1,200 kilometers through California. It forms the tectonic boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate, and the Carrizo Plain lies along this fault line, making it a great place for observing the effects of plate tectonics. The fault is a right lateral strike-slip fault, meaning the plates move horizontally past one another. This movement is not smooth and continuous, but happens in sudden shifts during earthquakes, which can be of varying magnitudes. The interaction of these plates has played a crucial role in shaping the geology and topography of the Carrizo Plain. Across this region, you'll see various features that are indicative of tectonic events, most notably the linear scar of the San Andreas Fault, which can be seen on the surface as a distinct feature cutting across the landscape. This area also has features like offset streams and sag ponds, which are small bodies of water formed in depressions along the fault line and have been formed by the movement of the Earth's crust along the fault. Furthermore, the plain has a variety of unique landforms such as pressure ridges and fault gorges, which are formed due to the intense pressure and grinding at the fault lines. Another site of interest is Wallace Creek, which was carved into the landscape tens of thousands of years ago by a small stream that leads into Soda Lake. By pure chance, it runs perpendicular to the San Andreas Fault, and this has given geologists a fascinating glimpse into how earthquakes change the landscape, and has given them a way to uncover the historical tectonic activity in the region. And that's because the creek is actually offset by about 425 feet or 130 meters as a result of activity along the fault, 23 feet or 7 meters of which was caused solely by Fort Tejon earthquake in 1857. It's by looking at this that researchers suspect a frighteningly powerful earthquake took place between 1540 and 1630. It's not just the San Andreas Fault that can be seen there either, as the plain also sits above the much smaller Big Spring Fault, the San Juan Fault, the Morales Fault, and the White Rock Fault, all of which run parallel to the San Andreas Fault and have led to the formation of the Caliente mountain range. The Carrizo Plain is therefore one of the most important areas for earthquake monitoring and research in the world. San Andreas Fault is notorious for producing significant earthquakes, as it accumulates stress over time that is eventually released suddenly. Historically, the region has witnessed many violent events, including the powerful Fort Tejon earthquake in 1857. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay. Notice what they talked about. Notice the landscape that they showed here. This landscape that they showed here is very indicative of the deformation, the ground movement. Okay? That's particularly what I wanted to show you in these videos. The ground movement that was caused by the earthquake. Okay? It's incredible, guys. It really is. Diane Kelman, while the video was playing, put up another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Diane. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. Now, folks, this is not the only seismic movement that we've been having. But what we've been having as of late is very almost disturbing, because it's getting to be more and more obvious. More and more obvious. If we don't see it, some people think, well, it's not going to be seen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. That could not be further from the truth. This could not be further from the truth. What we are going to see is ground deformation that will kill people. Ground deformation that will disturb people's sleep. Ground deformation that will upend people's lives. That is why I'm trying to document all of this information for all of you. I want to show you what's going on. A great many of our EMA family live in the Los Angeles area. Some of them live even further north up towards the Garlock Fault area, up towards Santa Barbara, and points north up to and through San Francisco. When the Cascadia megathrust earthquake happens, it will trigger the San Andreas Fault. That's one of the reasons we're talking about the San Andreas Fault tonight. That's exactly why we're talking about the San Andreas Fault tonight. Leroy Truth is asking, which do you think will rupture first? It's not called, well, I'm sorry, you said rupture. Which do you think will rupture first? The San Andreas, the New Madrid, or the Cascadia? I actually think the San Andreas will rupture first. Then, what I believe will happen is the Cascadia will then rupture. And then the Cascadia will trigger the San Andreas Fault again. Again, the San Andreas Fault will pop. And then sometime after that, the Cascadia will pop. And it will again trigger the San Andreas Fault. Then within a very short time after that, I believe we're going to have the New Madrid Fault open up. And that will affect the rest of the United States completely. The last time the New Madrid Fault opened up, it was felt all the way north to Washington, D.C. was felt all the way north to Washington, D.C. As we all were told last night, as I explained to you last night, the Cascadia will eventually be felt across the entire continent, Canada and the United States, and all the way down to Mexico. But the damage will be exclusive to the West Coast. Most of the damage, the great majority of the damage, will be exclusively to the West Coast. Yes, as that seismic energy, that 10.0 energy, creeps along through the entire continent, there will be damage. But the majority of the damage will be along the west coast of North America. Leroy is asking, what about Turkey and the New Zealand area? I talked about Turkey before. Not tonight and not last night. But I have talked about Turkey earlier this year. Several times earlier this year. Because last January, the Turkey-Syria border region had a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. And as a result, Turkey and Syria today have had at least 50 earthquakes. 50 earthquakes to include tremors. That area was hit a year and a half ago by a very major earthquake, a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. USGS tried to put it off as a 7.4. It was not. It was a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, and I proved it. I showed all the seismic data at the time that it was a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, and that the USGS was lying about it. The Turkey-Syrian people had over 5,000 people that lost their lives as a result of that quake. And over 5,000 people were injured as a result of that quake. As for New Zealand, within the next 15 to 20 years, they're expecting a subduction quake up to and including an 8.0, 8.5 earthquake along the east coast of New Zealand. An 8.0, 8.5 earthquake to the east coast of New Zealand. And the seismic energy is already building up. I've shown you all seismic energy along the east coast and northeast coast of New Zealand of 2.5 to 2.8 to 3.7 earthquakes. It's building up. It's building up gradually. The scientific community is saying that that energy is going to hit within the next 15 to 20 years. It might be sooner than that. Cowboy Roy Rogers is saying here in the chat that New Zealand needs to prepare for a major seismic event because the current low barometric pressure caused by the typhoon could trigger the earthquake. And I'm going to echo that. These major weather events that are hitting all over the world can also trigger a seismic equivalent. These weather events, these major weather events, typhoons, could trigger a seismic event. It's very possible. We've seen it happen before. Okay? Rob52 is saying that he's north of Phoenix, over 40 miles at 2,000 feet above sea level. Rob might feel some shaking as a result of a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake triggered by the Cascadia and moving all the way down the coast of California. Rob probably will feel the shaking. Rob and his family out there and other people out in Phoenix and Tucson area probably are going to feel a great deal of shaking, as will everybody across the entire continental United States and Canada. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But what is going to happen to California? What is going to happen to California? Right now, I'm going to show you current seismology records of California. Today, at least once a week, I pull information from all over Southern California to show all of you. There is significant information to show you. Significant information to prove what's going to happen. And I promise you it's going to be quite amazing and quite disturbing at the same time. Now, as I show you these seismograms, please be aware that could happen at any time. We are already seeing significant activity in the North LA area, all the way down into San Diego and down into the Imperial County, Southern California. I want to start off by going up to China Lake. I want to show you what's going on up there. Over by Ridgecrest. What do you think is happening? This is Christmas Canyon, China Lake. At the time that the Ridgecrest earthquake hit, and I explained this last night, there were people that said that there was magma down in the Navy tunnels down beneath the desert floor at China Lake. And when I first heard that, I'm going, oh really? Prove it. And for the longest time, nobody could provide any proof. Nobody had pictures. All they had was conjecture, and at the most, secondary or third way of word of mouth. Nobody had any real proof. This is a seismogram from over by China Lake. Look what's happening. All of these are tremors here. These are just minor tremors here. This is a 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. This is a 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. This is a 1.4, 1.5 tremor here. All these are minor tremors. All these are minor tremors over at China Lake. But the next seismogram I'm going to show you should be disturbing. This is a seismogram I pulled off the USGS site, the Caltech and USGS site. Now, it starts off here last night. Let me enlarge this seismogram so you can see exactly what we're talking about here. Okay? This seismogram started off at 1545. 3:45 p.m. Actually, 3:30 p.m. right here, this top line. Look how thick this line is. Each individual line on this particular seismogram and all the other seismograms we're going to show you represents 15 minutes worth of time. On this particular seismogram, we're showing you magma beneath the surface. The thicker the lines, the more magma that are beneath the surface going through magma tunnels. Magma tunnels. This top line is 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Let me move this over to right here. I want to show you the times. 16:15 right here on the left-hand side would be 4:15 yesterday afternoon. The line above it would be 4 p.m. 4:45, 5:15, 5:45. I'm sorry, I had to move my camera. 5:45 right here. 6:15, 6:45. Now I'm going to move a little bit more quickly here. Right here, 23:15 is 11:15 last night. 23:45 is 11:45 last night. Now folks, look what we have over here on the left-hand side. I'm sorry. Right here. Over here on the left-hand side, we see the time change here at midnight. June 26th right here. You can see 0015 here. 15 minutes after midnight. The lines up here towards the top are thicker, aren't they? We also see some tremors here, but right up here at the top. This is a 2.0 earthquake right here. Right above my cursor is a 2.0 earthquake. There are also other tremors here. Before midnight and after midnight here. These thin lines here don't show much magma, do they? But they show varying levels of magma, such as right here. Right here is 3:15 this morning. The thicker the lines here, the more magma. The lesser or thinner the lines are, the less magma. This is called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. Magma PULSE. Where magma is moving in the magma chamber, moving through the system, and sometimes there's more magma, and sometimes there's less magma. That's what we're seeing here in Ridgecrest. Ridgecrest, China Lake. Okay? Right here. This is 6:15. All of a sudden the lines become thicker, don't they? And as the lines become thicker, we see tremors building up. Rock fracturing inside the magma tunnels. As the magma moves inside these tunnels, it's fracturing rock, causing earth movement. Causing earth movement. Now, I come down here to 7:15 this morning. Look at this thick line here. This dark blue line here. The thicker the line, the more magma that's coming in to the magma tunnel. Folks, this particular seismogram is a seismogram that I believe is a volcano over at China Lake. Why do I say that? Because about 2 years ago, I was showing you a seismogram. And somewhere in all my records, and I have not destroyed the records, I have kept immaculate records of all my programs, of all the seismograms I've ever shown. And the seismogram I'm showing you now is Ridgecrest, China Lake. And this particular seismogram had a magma churn signal on it. Magma churn signals only appear at volcanoes. They only appear when the superheated magma gets to a certain temperature, and then it produces a magma churn signal, which usually looks like, well, it not usually, but it always looks like a sideways rectangle. And then to the right of that magma churn signal, we see steam signals. But we only see magma churn signals at volcanoes. So after we saw that magma churn signal here at Ridgecrest China Lake, we knew that this was a volcano, not just a magma tunnel. Here at 7:15, we see increased size of this line here. More magma coming into the magma chamber. Look at this. Right here. We see what appears to be a thick piece of magma. And we see a vertical line through here. That magma fractured rock inside, excuse me. The magma inside that magma chamber fractured rock inside the chamber causing earth movement. This appears to be a 2.5 earthquake. This vertical line reaches far enough down and far enough up to appear to be a 2.5 earthquake. Then you see other areas here where the lines are thicker. Over here, after that 2.5 earthquake hit here, we see more magma here and we see tremors here. These vertical lines here are all tremors. Then we continue to see the magma coming into the magma chamber. We come down to this thick line that is at 8:15. This thick dark blue line is at 8:15. We see a red vertical line here. The red vertical line here, just above my cursor there, that hand cursor, is a computer generated line. Meaning the computer generated that line because there was an earthquake. And the red generated line is to get the attention of the seismologist. And yes, this seismogram has been approved by the seismologists, or it would not be available here online. So that looks to be a 2.0 earthquake right here with my cursor there. Then right here, this is 8:45 here. We come over here to the right. Just before 8:45, we have 8:44. Right here, we have the beginnings of an earthquake. This signal right here is indicative of a tremor building up to this earthquake right here. Just after 8:45 this morning, we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake right here. We see these thicker lines here. Tremors building up to this quake that's indicative by this red line. Again, the computer-generated red line. We come over here to the right. We still see these thicker lines showing magma coming into the magma chamber. We're seeing tremors here. More tremors here. Right here we have a 2.3 earthquake here. A 2.3 earthquake here. Why am I showing you this? Folks, this is a volcano in China Lake. Right here. Here's another earthquake here. Again, the red line is computer generated. But you can see the increased magma coming into the magma chamber right here, causing the rock fracturing. 2.6, maybe 2.7 earthquake right here. The same thing right here. The same thing right here. The same thing right here. We come down over here. Now we're talking this afternoon. Over on the left-hand side is 13:15, 1:15 this afternoon. we come over here and we have another set of earthquakes. Not just one, but several earthquakes right here. There's a lot of magma here, right? You can see the magma disturbance building up here. Tremors, you can see the vertical lines here as the magma increases, leading up to this earthquake sequence here. You see it. Down here at 14:15, 2:15 this afternoon, we see a great deal of magma here. The thicker the lines, the more magma we have here. Again, we have another earthquake here. About 2:52, 2:53 this afternoon, we have another 2.5, 2.6 earthquake right here. Right there. Folks, this is China Lake. This is China Lake. And I've already previously, several years ago, confirmed that there is a volcano there. There is a volcano. Does anybody have any questions for me? Does anyone have any questions for me right now before I get any further? I don't have any problem with my microphone. Someone just said I was having problems with boogies and they couldn't hear me on my mic. Sorry, that never happened either. But folks, over at Ridgecrest, we have a volcano. We have a volcano. I wanted to show you that. I am very convinced of what's going on. I want to show you Channel Islands, just off the west coast of Los Angeles. Look what's going on here. Seismic activity is increasing off the coast of Los Angeles. This is Channel Island. Look at this right here. Over on the left is 5 a.m. right here. 2 minutes later, we have a tremor here. 1.3, 1.4 tremor here. Right here, we have a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake. We have a 2.0 earthquake here. Yes, there are quite a few tremors here. But we are also seeing minor earthquakes here at Channel Island. Probably a 2.0 earthquake here. Possibly a 2.0 earthquake here. This is just after 8:30 this morning. 8:04, 8:05 a.m. this morning right here. Minor earthquakes. And you can see tremors all over this seismogram. Then we come down here just after 2:01 p.m. this afternoon. Look at this. Look at this. Folks, this is probably a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. We can't see the bottom of the signature because it's covered up by other other seismic activity after that. But you can see what I'm saying. Right here. Over on the left-hand side, this would be 3 p.m. Right here is 3:04 p.m. right before 3:05 this afternoon. 3:04 p.m. Pacific time this afternoon. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake right here. This is just under a 3.0 earthquake here on the Channel Islands today, just off the coast. Should you be concerned? I hope you are. I sincerely hope you are. Let's go out to the desert, to Bakersfield. Look at this. This is Cal State Bakersfield. Okay? For the most part, all of these are minor tremors, except for this right here. This is approximately 5:40 a.m. this morning. A 3.0 earthquake at 5:30 a.m. in Bakersfield this morning. 3.0 earthquake in Bakersfield this morning. People felt that. People felt that. This is a Caltech seismogram. A Caltech seismogram. We see tremors all over the place. Down here at the bottom. Over here on the left-hand side is 2 p.m., 1400 hours. This green line here is 2:45. So we come over here 7 minutes later at 2:52. Right here. This appears to be a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. We can tell that because the seismic signature goes down here. We can't see the seismic signature above that because it's disguised by other colors that happened as a result of seismic activity before this earthquake. But you can see tremors and earthquakes happening throughout this seismogram in Bakersfield, with the largest being a 3.0 just after 5:40 a.m. this morning. Right here. 5:40 a.m. this morning, a 3.0 earthquake hit Bakersfield today. Okay? Let's go south to Elsinore. Lake Elsinore. Look at this. These are tremors at Lake Elsinore. Incredible, huh? These are all tremors. These thick green lines don't mean squat. These thicker green lines, there are 3 of them. They don't mean squat. It's called abstract. The agency put them there to deceive the public. They don't mean anything. But all the rest of this activity is real. These are all tremors here in Lake Elsinore. Let's go out to Idlewild. Okay? Out near the San Bernardino Mountains. All of this is all of this here. All of this is tremor activity. We can go over to the USGS map and it might show us 1 or 2 tremors. But they're not being truthful to us. Truthful with us. Look at all the tremors here. A buildup of seismic energy around what? The San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault here. I'm going to continue. Let's go over Lancaster. Fox Airport at Lancaster. Look at all this. Yes, we all have tremors here. This whole seismogram is full of tremors. This is a 1.5, 1.6 buildup of tremors here. Again, on the San Andreas Fault. 1.4, 1.5 tremor here, 1.4, 1.5 tremor here, 1.3 tremor here, 1.3, 1.4 tremor here. Tremors on the San Andreas Fault out at Lancaster. Okay? I'm showing you the evidence of movement on the San Andreas Fault east of Los Angeles. How about out at Chino? Good old Chino. We have a member of our EMA family in Chino. Look what happened in Chino today. All of these are tremors. All of this is tremors except for right here. This is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake right here. This is 4 minutes after 5:15. 5:19 a.m. this morning. A minor earthquake up here in Chino. Look at all this tremor activity in Chino. It's building up. As we've been showing you seismograms from Chino for the last 3 to 4 years, this is more seismic activity here in Chino than ever before. Seismic activity is building up here in Chino. Okay? Speaks Truth is talking about 2028. 2028 is not even here. 2028 is 4 years from now. I cannot tell you what's going to happen in 2028. Okay? If you're talking about 2028, you know nothing about it. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that was Chino, California. Let's go out to Rancho Mirage. This is getting over to the southern side of the San Andreas Fault. Rancho Mirage, California. Look at this. After 5 a.m. this morning. It started just after 5:07. It lasted all the way out here to 5:14, after 5:14. A buildup of seismic pressure here. This is just tremor activity. Tremor activity. Rancho Mirage. But what about this? We go over here. The black line shows activity after 7 a.m. here. Tremor activity. 1.2, 1.3 tremors. Then it gets less than that, 1.2. We come over here to 7:15 on the red line. The 7.2 goes up to 7.3 right here. And it continues to 7.4, 7.4, or 1.5, 1.7 here. Then it gets less. It gets less all the way over here. Then what happens here? What happens here after 7:22, actually 7:24 a.m. this morning? Right here. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Minor earthquake. Rancho Mirage, California today. The San Andreas Fault. Yes, we see tremors all over the place, but we're seeing 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes like this in different places all along the San Andreas Fault in Southern California. We see it happening. Just like the scientists are saying. Just like the scientists are saying. The San Andreas Fault is moving in Southern California. On the side of the fault, the length of the fault, where there's been very little activity in previous years. It's only proving that the activity is getting larger and that we are going to see a larger massive quake in the very near future. Seymour Butts is asking, what about Cajon Pass? What about Cajon Pass? Multiple times, what about Cajon Pass? Your comment was removed. Cajon Pass is also moving. I've driven up and down the Cajon Pass on Interstate 15 many, many times throughout my life. I've driven up the pass many, many times. I'm very familiar with the Cajon Pass and Tehachapi. I promise you right now that the Cajon Pass is getting hit with seismic activity. There is no seismogram there right now that we know of. I will try to find a seismograph in the Cajon Pass to show you what's happening. But I can guarantee you from talking with people that live over in the Cajon Pass area and over in Tehachapi, they are feeling 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes, small earthquakes throughout that area. That's what's happening around the Cajon Pass. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes up and down the Cajon Pass area. From Tehachapi southwest over to the San Andreas Fault. It's happening. It's going to continue to happen. Okay? Now I already showed you Ridgecrest. I want to show you the area at San Jacinto campus, Hemet, California. Hemet, California. Look at this. We have tremors up here early this morning. This is 9 a.m. here on this black line right here. We come down here to the blue line, which is 9:30. We come over here. This is the beginning of larger earthquakes today. 9:36 a.m. this morning. Folks, this appears to be 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. This is not a 3.0 earthquake yet. This is also here. 1 minute later, just before 9:37, actually before 9:38 a.m. this morning. Then we come over here. Look at all this seismic energy here. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes. 10 o'clock on the black line. We really don't have any big significant earth movement here. We come down here to 10:15 a.m. on the red line. We come over here at 1.3, 1.4 tremor. More tremors here building up to a 2.0, 2.3 earthquake right here. Minor earthquake activity. Tremors and minor earthquake activity here. Then for hours, we have nothing but tremor activity here. We come down here to 2 p.m. on this black line. Right here. This appears to be a 1.5, 1.7 tremor here. Right here. 2.0 earthquake here. This is Hemet, California. This is a community college in Hemet, California. I have taken courses in law enforcement here at San Jacinto campus. I have also taught law enforcement classes here. Hemet, California, I've been there many times. We see tremor activity here. Then we come down here to 1500 hours this afternoon, 3 p.m. We see tremor activity here. 1.5, 1.6 tremors here. All the way over here to 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 minor earthquake right here. This is 3:15 right here on this red line. 2.5 earthquake here. 2.0 here. 2.5 quake here. 2.5 earthquake here. Then we have more tremor activity here. We come over here. This is a 3.0 small earthquake right here. San Jacinto, California. Hemet, California. 3.0 small quake here this afternoon. This is 3:22 p.m. this afternoon. A 3.0 small quake right here, 3:22 this afternoon, San Jacinto campus in Hemet, California. Unreal. Unreal. It's happening, guys. Seismic activity all over Los Angeles. Literally all over Los Angeles. Let's go over to the Baldwin Hills, northwest of Los Angeles, the oil and gas pumping region in Los Angeles, the Baldwin Hills. Look at this. Increased tremor activity here. What you see is increased tremor activity here. We've had smaller tremor activity here in the past. Today we're seeing increased tremor activity. These are thicker lines. Increased tremor activity here in the Baldwin Hills. What does that mean? What does it mean for tremor activity increase in the Baldwin Hills, the oil and gas producing area of Los Angeles? That means when we have larger earthquakes in Los Angeles, there's going to be less pressure at the oil pumps. That's when the oil and gas people start wondering what's going to happen. Why are we getting less pressure at our pumps and jacks? It's because there is a larger earthquake coming. Okay? I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a lot. Let's go over to the coastline of Los Angeles. Laguna Bell. Laguna Bell. We are seeing increased seismic activity in Laguna as well. Look at this. This is more activity at Laguna in California, there in Los Angeles along the coast south of Los Angeles. Look at this. Right here. 9:45 a.m. here on the screen line. Increased seismic activity up to and including, I believe, a 2.0 earthquake here, a 2.0 earthquake here, 2.0 earthquake here. Increased seismic activity in Laguna, California. Probably a 2.0 earthquake here as well this morning. This would be 7:13 a.m. this morning, Laguna, California. Right here after 10 a.m. Look at this line right here at the beginning, 10 a.m. A 2.0 earthquake right here, 10 a.m. this morning in Laguna, California. Yes, we have tremor activity after that. But a 2.0 earthquake at 10 a.m. this morning is not anything to sneeze at. It's something to be concerned about, because we continue to see seismic energy buildup in Laguna along the coast of Los Angeles County. We're seeing it. We are seeing it. Laguna, California this morning. Let's continue here. Let's go over to Marina del Rey, Playa del Rey, just northeast of Los Angeles along the coast. For the first time today, for the first time in 2 weeks, there is less seismic activity here at Playa del Rey and Marina del Rey than we've had here. In the past couple of weeks, we've had a great deal of seismic activity here in Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. This is the coastal area. This is where a lot of rich people live. There's a lot of money here. Out on the water, there's yachts and boats and fishing boats in the marina. This is just basically minor tremor activity. We've seen earthquake activity here at Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey before. This is less activity for the first time in a while. But let's go north of Los Angeles. Let's look at Del Amo, California. Look at this, guys. This is wall to wall, side to side, top to bottom, seismic energy. This is more than just tremors. This is more than just tremors, guys. Throughout this seismogram, I can see 2.0 and large earthquakes. Right here. On this red line, this would be 2:18 this afternoon. This appears to be at least a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Minor earthquake. Minor earthquake. Up here, we have what may appear to be a 1.8 tremor. Down here, look at this. These are tremors all the way over here. Right here, this is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Right here. This is 3:20 p.m. this afternoon. Then we have tremors after that until right here. Folks, this appears to be a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Here on this black line. The black line over on the left-hand side is 3 p.m. This would be 3:08 p.m. This line right here is a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake today in Del Amo, California. We are seeing an increase in seismic activity in Los Angeles. Let's look at Ellis, California. I'm really excited to show you this. Again, we have tremors here. Tremors all over the place. 1.1, 1.2, even 1.3 tremors. What happened here after 6:30 on this blue line? We had tremors here. Then we have 1.5, 1.6 tremors here. Then they get less, 1.2, 1.3s. Then all of a sudden the tremor activity increases here. Right here we have a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.0 earthquake. 6:44 a.m. this morning. A 3.0 earthquake. It comes over here just after 6:45. It continues. This again is a 3.0 earthquake here. Meaning the 3.0 activity continued for like 15 seconds. Small earthquake for 15 seconds. Not bad. People felt it, but they might not have recognized it at that hour of the morning. They were just waking up. They might have felt trembling beneath their feet. But the tremors continued, and minor earthquakes continued. This is a 2.6, 2.7, 2.6, 2.7 quake here. More of them happened all morning long. This is 8:45 a.m. this morning. 8:50 this morning. 2.9 earthquake. Right here. The seismic activity started here and continued all the way over here. 3 to 4 minutes. Look at all this activity here. After 10:30, after 10:45 here, 11 a.m. here. These are all tremors here. This is 12 noon on the black line. There's an increase in seismic activity here. 2.0, 2.2 magnitude earthquake right here. This is 12:09 p.m. this afternoon. We'll come down here at 12:15 over on the left-hand side. We come over here. This is 12:20 p.m. this afternoon. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake this afternoon. Minor earthquake. 12:30 here. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. Look at this tremor and seismic energy buildup here. Then it gets less again. More seismic buildup right here. This is at 1:41 a.m. or 1:41 a.m. 1:41 p.m. here. Look at the tremors here. Building up to 2.0 earthquakes. Continuing at 1:45 this afternoon here. 2 p.m. 1.6, 1.7 tremors again. They continue here. At 3 p.m. here. This is a 2.8, 2.9 minor earthquake right there. Just after 3 p.m. Then all we have after that are just tremors all the way over here. Suddenly a 2.6, 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes hitting here. We come over here to 3:15 on the red line here. You can see the tremor build up here. All of a sudden, 3.0 small quake here. We have minor earthquakes until here. Here's another 3.0 earthquake this afternoon. This happens at 3:21 p.m. 3:23 p.m. here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Do you see what I'm getting at? This is the northern part of Los Angeles. We're seeing minor and small earthquake activity here in northern LA. How about out east in Fontana? I can't wait to show you this. Fontana, California is moving. And it's just not minor earthquakes. It's not just minor earthquakes. Over on this black line here, up at the top right here on the left is 5 a.m. here. Yes, we have some tremors here. We have 2.0 earthquakes happening here. 2.0 earthquake right here. 5:15 right here. Look at this, guys. 3.0 earthquake here in Fontana this morning, and this was at 5:18 a.m. 5:18 a.m. we have our first small earthquake here. Throughout the morning, All morning long and all afternoon long, we have 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes all day long. Fontana, California. What happened earlier this week? What happened on Monday? Remember us telling you that just east of here we had a 4.5 earthquake? Devore, California. Look at this seismic energy in Fontana today. Incredible. Then down here at the bottom, look at this. 3.0 earthquakes here. 3.0 earthquakes here. And after 3:15 here. 3.0 earthquake here. Folks, we are still having small earthquakes in Fontana, California. How would you like to have seismic energy building up under your feet all day long? This is exactly what is happening in Fontana, California today. I remember all we saw here several months ago were tremors. All we saw here in Fontana several months ago were tremors. And now we're seeing full-blown 3.0 small earthquakes. What is going to happen here in the very near future? What is happening here? We've seen seismic energy build up over the past few months. It's getting larger and larger and larger. For the great majority, I believe the San Andreas Fault is responsible for this. I believe the San Andreas Fault, even though this is west of the fault, that's west of the fault, I still believe it is the San Andreas Fault that's causing that. I believe it's the San Andreas Fault that's causing all of this. Okay? Let's go over to Long Beach. Long Beach. This is light hype. Light hype. For 2 years now, we've had tremor activity. For 2 years here at Light Hype in Long Beach, we've seen tremor activity. It's no longer just tremor activity here in Long Beach. We are seeing 2.0, 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes literally all day long. Top to bottom. 5 a.m. here. This is 3:45 right here. You're seeing it here. 2.5, 2.8. This may have been here and here a 3.0 earthquake. Long Beach, California. And yes, we have had 3.5 small earthquakes here in Long Beach. It's happened. We've seen it here in the past few weeks. We're seeing side to side, top to bottom, from 5 a.m. here all the way out here to 3:40 p.m. here. It's happening, guys. We are seeing it. You can't deny it when the seismogram shows it to you. USGS can say on their map, nothing's happening. And that's exactly what they're showing on the map, nothing. But the seismograms don't lie. The seismograms in Los Angeles don't lie. It's not just that. Wait till I show you State Street. State Street is Anaheim, California. You know where Disneyland is and Knott's Berry Farm? Well, guess what? They are having tremors, they are having minor earthquakes, and full-blown 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in Anaheim, California today. Right here. This is after 5:34 a.m. this morning. Two of them. 3.5 earthquake here, 3.5 earthquake here. Probably right here as well. This is 5:30 a.m. this morning. 5:30 a.m. this morning, all the way over here. You can see it all day long here. 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. We're seeing here.
Location.
Look at these. 3.0 earthquake here.
4.1, 23 minutes ago.
Guerrero, Mexico, 4.1 earthquake in Mexico. Look at this, guys, right here. Look at this. These are tremors. Right here. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. But here, again, this is at least a 3.0 earthquake here. Right here. 3:34 p.m. this afternoon. 3.0 small quake there. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes happening in Anaheim, Disneyland area, Knott's Berry Farm. Again, many of you live in this area. Songstress' daughter-in-law and aunt lives in Long Beach. I showed you small earthquakes in Long Beach. Here in Anaheim, they got larger. 3.5 earthquakes this morning and this afternoon. They don't have to show them on the USGS map because USGS is denying they're happening. But you can't deny, and USGS can't deny what the seismograms say. This is a Caltech seismogram. You can see it. You can see it plain as day. You can see it plain as day. Let's go over to the tall building in downtown Los Angeles. The LA City County building. This is the Emergency Operations Center seismograph that's reporting this information. Look at this. This is after 7:20 a.m. this morning. Okay? Right here is 7:15. Right here is 7:20. Look at all this seismic data here. 2.8 earthquake here, 2.8 earthquake here, 2.8 earthquake here. But over here, all of a sudden we're getting 3.0 small quake here at downtown Los Angeles. In downtown Los Angeles, 3.0 small quake activity today, this morning. This morning. This is 7:22 a.m. this morning. 7:22 a.m. this morning. All the rest of this is just tremors. But genuine 2.0 minor earthquakes, all of the way, well, 2.2, 2.5 earthquakes here, and 3.0 earthquakes right there. At the Los Angeles City County building, the Emergency Operations Center. A few minutes ago, we talked about the earthquake activity in Fontana. Just north and west of Fontana is a town called Mira Loma. Loma Linda is just east of there. This is a seismogram from Loma Linda. This is a 2.0 earthquake here, minor earthquake. All the rest of this activity here appears to be tremors. But we have had full-blown 3.0 earthquakes here in Mira Loma before. Now all we're getting here is a 2.0 earthquake right there. And all the rest of this is all tremors. Unreal. Los Angeles is moving. And it very well might be that the San Andreas Fault is causing all of this. The San Andreas Fault may be causing all of that. Let's go over to Rancho Palos Verdes again, near the coastline, near where my wife Carol was born. Rancho Palos Verdes. This is just tremors. This is nothing but tremors, and we've had minor earthquakes here before. Minor tremors here all day long. I don't know whether I showed you Moore Park yet. Moore Park is over in northern Los Angeles. Look at this. We have minor tremors. We have a good-sized 3.0 earthquake here. Okay? Over here it would be 5:15. Right here, this is approximately 5:25 a.m. here. Small 3.0 earthquake. Minor earthquakes here. Minor earthquake here, minor earthquake here. Minor earthquakes and tremors for a good share of the day. Look what happened right here. Over here would be 3:15. This is at least a 3.0, 3.2 earthquake. Then we have tremors and minor earthquakes after that. This appears to be a 2.8, 2.9 quake there. But what happened after 5:30 or 3:30 this afternoon? This is 3:30 right here. We come over here to 3:37. This is a 3.5 earthquake. The top is cut off. The bottom here is cut off. This signature right here is at least a 3.5 earthquake. The top and the bottom are cut off here. This is probably, folks, a 4.0 moderate quake here in Moore Park, California. A 4.0 earthquake here in Moore Park, California, right there. Nobody can deny it. You can't. The top and the bottom are cut off. A 4.0 earthquake. This is a 3.5 here. This is at least a 4.0 earthquake here. Los Angeles is on fire. The earthquakes are coming loose all over Los Angeles. Literally all over Los Angeles. I want to show you this. This is a picture of Moore Park, California today. There was a helicopter from Channel 5 that picked this picture up for me. Moore Park, California today. The area is shaking. The area is shaking. Pardee, California, right here. Look at this. Tremors and minor earthquakes. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. This is probably a 2.2 earthquake here, but the activity before that, here at 5:42 a.m. this morning, is probably a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake right here. You can see the other minor earthquakes all morning long, and yes, there are some tremors here as well. 2.0 earthquake here. 2.2, 2.3 earthquake here. These are all tremors and earthquakes here. We come right here. We can't see the top of this, but this appears to be a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake right here this afternoon. 3:30 this afternoon. Pardee, California. Pardee, California. Ronald, also north of Los Angeles. Look at this. Wall-to-wall, top-to-bottom tremor activity for over 2 hours. Over 2 hours. Then it got less. 2.0 earthquake, 2.0 earthquake, 2.0 earthquake, 2.0 earthquake, 2.0 earthquake, and 2.0 earthquake here. Tremors all day long. Ronald, California. How about Rio Hondo? How about Rio Hondo? Look at this. Top to bottom, side to side tremors. Yes, sometimes the tremors were less right here, just after 5 a.m. But after 5:45, the tremors increased to 2.3, 2.4, I'm sorry, not 2.4, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. That's why it's top to bottom, side to side tremors. You can hardly see the white underneath it. That's how busy it has been over in Rio Hondo, California today, northern Los Angeles. It's been busy, hasn't it? There's also a volcano over in eastern Los Angeles, Walnut, California. Walnut, La Puente, California. We show you these kind of seismograms every day. Every day here in Los Angeles. Walnut, La Puente, California. This is a volcano. Look at the earthquakes here. The top and the bottom of this earthquake here. This is after 6 a.m. right here. You go over here, this is about 6:08 a.m. here. At least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. We can't see the bottom because the bottom's cut off here. The top's cut off here. We can't see it. At least 3.5 earthquakes here. The same thing here after 6:15. The top, the bottom cut off. 3.5 earthquakes here. This is a 3.5 earthquake here. This is 6:18 a.m. right here. A 3.0 earthquake here. You can see these earthquakes here. Tops, bottoms cut off. Top, bottom cut off. This one here concerns me. This started here at approximately 6:58 a.m. Just before 6:58 a.m. right here. It continues all the way over here. Nearly a 3-minute earthquake. Nearly a 3-minute earthquake here. Started over here, ended over here. Top and the bottom cut off. Top and the bottom cut off. Top and the bottom cut off here, right here, and this one here as well. Top's cut off, the bottom's cut off. 3.5, possibly even 4.0 earthquakes hitting here at a volcano. Walnut, La Puente, California. Seismic activity here. 3.0 small earthquake here. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. 6 minute, at least 3.0 earthquake. Small earthquake lasting 6 minutes. How would you like to endure that?
Earthquake upgraded to 4.2 from 3.9 location. France-Germany border region class, like 4 minutes ago.
France-Germany border region. France-Germany border region, nearly a 4.0 earthquake. Seismic energies popping all over the world. This is Los Angeles. This is LA at a volcano. Los Angeles, California at a volcano. It's insane, guys. This is insane. I'm telling you, this is insane. Santa Monica. These are tremors all day long in Santa Monica. 1.1, 1.2 tremors, sometimes as much as 1.3, 1.4 tremors. That's all. Santa Monica, California. Let's take another closer look down south. I'm talking Imperial County, the southernmost county besides San Diego and Imperial that are the closest to the Mexican-U.S. border. How about Bombay Beach? I've shown you where Bombay Beach is. This is over on the central east side of the Salton Sea. Again, the Salton Butte volcano is over on the southern side of the Salton Sea. But we're still seeing these small earthquakes literally all day long here at Bombay Beach. Imperial Valley, California. Howling Coyotes here in the chat. Howling Coyote says, is this something like a senior scientist seminar? Pretty much. Because I wanted to show you all of the earthquakes happening all over Southern California. Southern California is ripping loose. Southern California is going to have a 7.0 earthquake this summer. Southern California is going to be hit with a 7.0 earthquake sometime this summer. It's either going to be on the southern border of Mexico and the U.S., or it's going to be in San Diego or Los Angeles. I'm showing you the earthquakes to prove it. This, folks, the San Andreas Fault runs down the eastern side of the Salton Sea. This is why it happens. This is what's going on. That's Bombay Beach. Let's go take a look at the southeast side.
Quick upgraded to 4.3 from 4.2 location, France, Germany border region, last flight 7 minutes ago.
A 4.3 earthquake in France, Germany border region. Today, this evening. Actually, by now it's early morning there in France and Germany. But a moderate earthquake. They're calling it a light. It's not a light earthquake. Those are moderate earthquakes in France, Germany area. People are feeling them. People got woken up this morning in France and Germany. Again, over on the southeast side of the Salton Sea, we have a town called Calipatria. Usually we see anywhere from 70 to 100 earthquakes every day. We're only seeing maybe 60 earthquakes here. Maybe 60 earthquakes here. This is a 2.0 minor earthquake here. This is a 2.0 minor earthquake here. MB is asking, are the earthquakes becoming more frequent than ever, in my opinion? Yes. Absolutely, yes, they are. Look at these earthquakes here. These are tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes, every one of them. There are no 3.0 earthquakes here. These are all minor earthquakes and tremors. This is a tremor, this is a tremor, this is a tremor, this is a tremor. These are tremors here. The red lines are generated by the computer to get the seismologist's attention to say, look at this. That's why we have the red lines. The computer generates the red lines. I put this seismogram here so you can see what I'm saying. Usually we have more earthquakes here at Calipatria than they're showing today. Usually there's sometimes as many as 100 to 150 earthquakes here in Calipatria. This is midnight last night, early this morning. This seismograph started showing here, the seismograph started recording here at 3:15 yesterday afternoon. This is this afternoon right here. Okay? Calipatria. Like I said, usually we have anywhere from 100 to 150 earthquakes there in Calipatria every day. Every day. Let's go down and look at the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. Good old Holtville, California. Back in the 70s, I participated in a speech and debate contest in Holtville at the high school. Today, a 3.0 earthquake right here. 3.0 earthquake here in Holtville today. These appear to be just tremors and minor earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes. 2.2 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here. 2.3 earthquake here. Minor earthquakes and possibly a 3.0 earthquake here just after 5:03 a.m. this morning. Holtville, California. Let me show you another over there in Imperial Valley. El Centro, California. Our buddy lives over here in El Centro. A member of our own EMA family lives here in El Centro. Look what we're seeing here. 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquake here. This is 5 a.m. right here. 5:02 a.m. right here, 3.0 earthquake. 5:04 a.m. right here, 3.0 earthquake. Small earthquakes all day long. Small earthquakes all day long. That's what's here in El Centro. Just east of the town of El Centro, or excuse me, not east, just west of the town of El Centro, we have a United States Naval Air Station. This is what's going on in El Centro, California. These earthquakes are continuing. This is a 3.5 earthquake here this afternoon at 3 p.m. 3.5 earthquake this afternoon here. This may have been right here as well. What I am saying, folks, is Southern California is on fire. Not literally. We do not have huge fires going on here in El Centro, but we are getting blasted by earthquakes. Blasted by earthquakes. I promise you, that is exactly what's going on. That is exactly what's going on. How about the town of Imperial? I'm sorry, that's El Centro again. Let me find Imperial here. There's a town called Imperial here in the Imperial Valley. It's right here. This is the town of Imperial. Most of this is nothing more than tremors. Nothing more than tremors. But right here, this is 12 noon today. Tremors all the way over here. But right here, we start seeing 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. Right here, I believe this is 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. And also right here. Two of them. Two different separate earthquakes. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes right here. The town of Imperial in the Imperial Valley. Folks, the San Andreas Fault runs right through the center of town. The San Andreas Fault runs right through the center of Imperial, the town of Imperial.
Location, Philippine Islands region, class light, magnitude 4.0, 17 minutes ago.
4.0 in the Philippine Islands. That's no surprise. That's typical of what we see in the Imperial or in the Philippines. Folks, do you have any questions about anything I've told you tonight? Do you have any questions about anything I've shown you tonight? Now I have somewhat of a treat for you. Our buddy Demon Catman sent me a package yesterday. I got a package yesterday. His card here is typical of what I really enjoy. Demon Catman sent me a train card from England. These are beautiful locomotives. These are beautiful locomotives. I love trains. He sent me a note inside as well. Dean, thank you so much for the card. Thank you so much for the package. Folks, I want to show you something that's really precious to me. I collect rocks. I collect rocks and minerals. I've got several snowflake obsidian pieces here. This is called snowflake obsidian. Snowflake obsidian happens as lava cools. After a volcano erupts, the lava cools and it forms these snowflakes, quartz inside the obsidian. Really beautiful. I have 3 similar to that. Then he sent me this piece of thinner obsidian glass. Obsidian is volcanic glass. This is almost like an arrowhead. The Americans used to make arrowheads out of obsidian. This is beautiful obsidian. Demon Catman, I don't know where you got these pieces of obsidian, but they're cool. This is also another piece of obsidian. You can almost see through parts of this piece. You can almost see through parts of this piece. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Cool. 2 more things the Dean sent me. This is a globe. This is an obsidian globe. Look at that. There's quartz pieces inside this obsidian globe. Like I said, as obsidian cools, as the lava cools, it forms these quartz pieces here. This is an obsidian ball here. I've never had an obsidian ball. Hey Don, can I use this as my crystal ball? It's not crystal, but I might be able to call it that. What do you think, Don? What do you think? Should I call this my crystal ball? Don says, LOL, sure. Isn't that cool? Then the coup de grace. I want to show you this. Look at this. This obelisk is obsidian. It's polished volcanic glass obsidian. That's cool, isn't it? Look how tall that is. It's like 18 inches tall. That's cool. Dean, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for these pieces of obsidian. That's cool. It's awesome. Sun Gazer says that's from high heat volcanic obsidian. You're right.
Earthquake upgraded to 4.4 from 4.3. Location, France, Germany border region. Class, light 19 minutes.
4.4 now. A 4.4 earthquake in France, Germany. Incredible. Helen Coyote said he just found an outstanding emergency preparedness manual put out by Los Angeles County. Yes, LA County does have some good preparedness manuals. They do. But if you want to find a really good preparedness manual, go over to churchofjesuschrist.org. Look in their, go through their website and go over to personal preparedness. The LDS Church has an excellent emergency preparedness manual. They have an excellent emergency preparedness manual put together by the church. It's absolutely cool. Anyway, guys, that's what I have. I've shown you a lot of information tonight. I'm going to show you even more tomorrow night. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've told you or shown you tonight? I've given you a lot of information. I've given you a ton of information. All of it points to the San Andreas Fault popping very soon with a major earthquake. Okay? All this information adds up to a major earthquake in Southern California. Now, folks, all of a sudden we went down to 59 people still watching this program and 96 thumbs up. I would appreciate if you guys would bring the thumbs up over at least 100, 105, 120 thumbs up before the end of this program tonight. I'd appreciate that. What we've done for you is giving you all the information to help protect your family and loved ones in Los Angeles and Southern California. It's about to happen. It could happen at any time. That's why I've been talking about it. Don Patoka and I have talked about it. Rob and I have talked about it. I've shown you the information tonight. It's going. It's about to pop. I'm sorry about that. Before I leave you tonight, I want to leave you with a spiritual thought. I'm going over to Ephesians. The Apostle Paul is talking to the Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 10. That in the dispensation of the fullness of times, he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are in earth, even in him. But it goes on. Verse 15 through 22. Wherefore I also have heard of your faith in the Lord Jesus, and love unto all the saints. Cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers. This is what Paul wrote to the Ephesians. He wrote to the Philippians. He wrote to the Corinthians. Paul professing his love for the people. That the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what the riches of his glory, of his inheritance in the saints, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to us usward who believe according to the working of his mighty power, which he wrought in Christ when he raised him from the dead, and set him at his own right hand in the heavenly place, far above all principality, and power, and might, and dominion, every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in the world to come, and hath put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things to the church. That's beautiful. Those words came from the Apostle Paul to us. Yes, he told that to the people in Ephesus. He wrote that to the people in Ephesus. But the same scripture is applicable to us in our day. Yes, the Apostle Paul loves each one of us. God loves each one of us. The scriptures are given to us for enlightenment, for wisdom and knowledge, to help us go through our days here on this earth. Why? Why? Why does the God of heaven want to give us this information to help us on our journey here on this earth? Why does God care? Why does God care about us? Because our Heavenly Father loves us. He cares about us. He wants us to return to His kingdom in heaven. May God bless you. May God bless you that you'll find Jesus Christ in your life. That you will obey the commandments of God. That you will do your best to find Jesus Christ and God in your life. And emulate them. Emulate them and teach about them to your children and grandchildren. God bless you to that end. Brothers and sisters, I am a servant in God's kingdom here on this earth. I am bringing you these messages because I care. Because I care. God be with you this day and always. Please know what we're trying to do to help. We're trying to give you knowledge and wisdom so you can take care of yourselves and your families. We're going to talk more about these earthquakes and things that are going on tomorrow night. If you have any comments, leave the comments below this program tonight after we get off the air. You can also send us emails. Emails to my email address at rltnspdema@gmail.com. If you want to help support this channel, just below this video, within 10 minutes after we get off the air, I will put a program description up. You're going to see in that program description a way to join as a member of the EMA family here on YouTube. You're also going to see our email address. You're also going to see 2 PayPal addresses where you can help support this channel. You can also send us a letter or a card and insert a donation inside your letter or card. You can always help support our channel, and we greatly appreciate it. May God bless you. Please come back here tomorrow evening. Please come back here tomorrow evening to gain more information about what's going on in your neck of the woods to save your life. Again, Dean, thanks for that beautiful card. Thank you for that obsidian. We appreciate it. God be with you. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. Don Patoga just put our information in the chat. Thank you so much, Don. Thank you all of our moderators. We love and appreciate each one of you. Thank you so much. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.